The Jamie Dyer Show.
Welcome to the podcast. Toby, tell me, what is your passion?
Well, my passion is filmmaking mainly, actually.
Oh, really? So you are a director. Are you working on anything specific at the moment?
Yes, I am indeed, Jamie. I'm working on a new short film, which is being made for my dissertation at the University of Chichester. But it's an idea that has been in the works for a while, and I have written it, and I will be directing it.
Excellent. Well, that is a very long process, and as someone who I believe I did the same course as you about 8 years ago, so I know a little bit about where you must be at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit about the project in which you're currently doing?
Of course. So the project is called The Railwaywoman. It is about Alice, a young teenager with a deep passion for steam locomotives who faces uncertainty in a male-dominated environment. This musical story will defy societal expectations by exploring the journey of this queer autistic woman as she faces scrutiny from her peers, leading to an accident that she causes.
Wow, so there's a lot to unpack there. I'm guessing the main themes here are the autism and the sexuality thing as well.
Well, I mean, the sexuality thing, admittedly, is a part of the character, and it should not be overlooked. Though the guiding force, really, of this story is not about the autism, really. The fact that this story is set on a railway, the fact that the character is queer, the fact that she has a learning disability, that's not really the most important part of the story. What the story is about, really, and what makes it important is that it's a story about consequence and vulnerability. Consequences for your actions and admitting to yourself that it's okay to be vulnerable even if you put on a tough skin or whatever. That's really the most core underlining themes that this story is about. But of course, everyone will have their own interpretation of the story.
Which is what you do with film. You interpret based on what you see in your own experiences. I mean, do you have a particular idea about what you want people to think?
I think every filmmaker does. And for this one, I want them to have a much more broader understanding about subject matters that they wouldn't necessarily understand in the first place, like with the autism, like with the LGBT, and like with, issues in male-dominated environments, and to give them a reputation that they wouldn't normally associate with either of those things. But really what you need to do is write a story that you want to tell, no matter what people are going to think. So, because there's always going to be people who love it, there's always people who are going to hate it. And like I said, everyone's going to interpret the story in completely different ways.
I agree with you totally. And the bit that I got from it was the fact that it was an autistic character, which is something that's starting to be a little bit more commonplace in storytelling. They're starting to tell more stories, but there still isn't enough representation in the media, is there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've met many women who are, even some who are personal friends of mine, who who are autistic, who are queer, and have a lot more mental issues going underneath the surface. And despite the fact that, when the media does try to portray female autism, they do it rather stereotypically. And the people I've met in real life who are associated with those minorities, they have interests and personality traits that are never represented in media. So it's not just about representing genuine autism in women, but it's also about, portraying those kinds of other interests and character traits that go with it.
Yeah, perhaps things that haven't been seen previously.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know from when I did my dissertation, I wrote a screenplay rather than a film, but there's an awful lot of research involved in this. What did you do to look things up?
I gathered together a focus group made up of different autistic women, some of them who are LGBT, some of them are not, but all come from different walks of life, to really hone in and get this representation done right from people who basically the film is supposed to reflect.
That's a very good way of going about it, because you get first-hand experience of it. I mean, this is obviously your final project. Where would you like to take this film?
I want to take it onto the film festival circuit if it's good enough. I want to be able to do more with it once it's completed, and just basically show the world. The people who are involved, in the cinematography area, the composing area, they're all very talented individuals, and I want to make sure that they can get recognized for their work and, be up for potential awards and film festivals that are very specific to their skill set, so that they can get recognized.
I didn't realize until a few years ago just how big the short film festivals really were. They're absolutely incredible. There's so much talent in those places.
Yeah, it's very true. One of the modules I did in my university recently is about industry engagement with film festivals. And even though that we couldn't go to an actual physical place like the module usually does, but we couldn't go because of COVID, we did get to see a lot of films, and to show the amount of talent and quality out there, and how the film community comes together. And even myself, I've participated in a film festival before. I helped to program and present at the Oscar Bright Film Festival last year, which is actually a specific learning disabled film festival.
Can I ask you a personal question here? Are you, considering the subject of the film that you are currently making, are you on the autistic spectrum yourself?
That I am.
Yeah, me too. And it is an important thing that this representation. There's been so many things out there, and I find this fascinating. I was reading your synopsis. You've written everything. I mean, you are. How many people are in the team in which you are currently making it?
In total, the cast.
Just in total.
Oh, over 30.
Goodness, that is a big. That is a relatively big production for something like that. I mean, do you have kind of ambitions to push that on into other, maybe, make other films? Do you want to be a director, or maybe another area?
Well, I can't really imagine most filmmakers who don't want to be directors. I mean, everyone wants to be the next Spielberg. Although, to be fair, I've always preferred Edgar Wright over Spielberg.
Yeah. That's a very niche. It's a very niche thing. Right there. One thing I should ask you is, obviously, you've come on here to talk about this particular project that you're currently doing. Is there anything that you need from anybody that may be listening?
Absolutely. So we are trying to raise money for the production, and we are trying to raise a target of £5,500. And I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of money, and it is, but the thing is that for this production, we are going to be filming at an actual heritage railway with full-sized engines. So that means that there's a lot of factors in there, because we'll be going on property that is historic. There's loads of health and safety to bear in mind, and to cover all that, it's a lot of money per day. And we'll be filming over a period of 5 days.
That's very ambitious. I mean, when you say like an old railway, you mean like steam, right?
Yeah, places like the Bluebell Railway or the Kent and East Sussex or the Spa Valley, those sorts of places.
Goodness. I mean, again, and that's a very niche thing. Is that something that you're personally interested in, or is that literally just in the story? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a railway enthusiast ever since I was a child.
Wow, so you're really putting a piece of yourself into this film.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've actually made a short film that had a railway setting before, A Clear Signal, back in 2017. But I also made a personal autistic film, short film that is, called Interpretation. And after those two things, which actually were both made for college, and now at university doing, almost like a swan song of my entire time at uni to get my degree for dissertation, it kind of made sense to me to almost combine two of the most important subject matters in my life in one film.
Yeah, it sounds like that you're putting all of yourself into this, and I think sometimes that makes the best films, because there's heart in it. If you weren't interested in what was going on screen, I mean, I don't think you'd put quite as much effort into it. If people wanted to find out more about the film and about you in general, where would they need to go?
People can find out more about this project on our website, which is therailwaywoman.com. Also, I would like to point out, because this is quite important, we are also still trying to raise money on GoFundMe. So if you find the Railwaywoman on GoFundMe, you can see our targets and how much we've raised so far. And we really do need to reach our target before our production begins in February next year. And if there's any sort of donations that anybody can give, it would be very helpful, and share it around as much as possible to get the word out, because we really do need it, and we would be very grateful to it. Plus, also on the website, it shows all the perks if you donate. I could even run through those perks real quickly if people are listening. If you purchase £10, you'll get an original postcard with original art by a concept artist. If you pay £50, you get an original a Railwaywoman poster. For £75, you get a thank you postcard and a cast and crew signed poster. £400, which is what we call our bronze production box, you get a postcard, signed poster, production stills, and original T-shirt. For £200, which is our silver production box, you get postcards, signed poster, production stills, original T-shirt, and a DVD of submitted film. And finally, the golden production box, which is £300, a complete silver production box with an exclusive producer credit. But in all of those, your contributions to the budget will be noted down in the credits of the final piece.
I mean, that is extremely extensive and very well thought out. And I hope that you raise the amount of money required, and, all the best with it. I mean, how at this moment in time, how far are you away from your target?
We're actually very far away from our target, unfortunately.
Well, I hope that I can help in some way, and the listeners can contribute something, because this is something I'm particularly passionate about, encouraging creators to do what they love to do. And I do wish you all the best with this film and its intentions and everything that's gone behind. I can see that there's a lot of work gone into it. And I'd like to say, Toby, thank you very much for appearing on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me, Jamie.
The Jamie Dyer Show.